So for perfect sushi rice, we want equal volumes of rice and cold water. First of all, rinse the rice very well, about 3 times in cold water. Then rice and water into the pan, bring it to the boil. We now turn it down to a simmer, lid on, simmer for 10 minutes. While my rice is simmering, I'm going to prepare the mackerel. First step for filleting is just with a very sharp knife, just make an incision behind the gills until you come to touch the bone there. Then just slide your knife so that it's parallel and pressing against the backbone, and just slide it all the way down, feeling your way as you go. You can feel that bone against the underside of the knife, and there we go, until it just comes off in one piece like that. Next, I'm going to take off the skin, and all we do is just make a little incision at the back, at the thin end of the tail end. Just move your knife all the way down, pressing against the board, pressing against the skin until it's gradually released all the way down. And the fillet just comes away like that. We're now going to cut down either side of the row of pin bones going down the middle. One incision there, other side, release those bones in the middle, out it goes. Our rice has been stood with a lid on for 15 minutes, so it should now be perfectly cooked. And if you're unsure, just taste a little bit. So, next, rice into a mixing bowl, and now we add our mixture of rice vinegar and sugar and salt onto the rice, and then just give it a good mix up, cutting through the rice as you go. You want every grain of this to be coated in essentially the seasoning. This is what gives sushi rice its distinctive flavour over other types of rice. It's that blend of rice vinegar, salt and caster sugar. We now need to cool this rice to room temperature as quickly and as evenly as possible. And the best way to do that is by just tipping it into a shallow tray or onto a plate and just spreading it into a nice, thin, even layer. And in true television style, here's one that I prepared earlier. We're now ready to cook our fish, but without heat. And to do that, we've got here a cure of just rice wine vinegar and caster sugar. Stir it up till the sugar's dissolved, and then simply place in the fillets of mackerel. And they just sit coated in this cure for about 15 minutes or so. Right, the secret of easy sushi preparation is mise en place, otherwise translated as things in place. Everything laid out, ready to go. So our rice has cooled to room temperature. I've got some vinegared water here to stop the rice from sticking to my hands. Next, take the rice in your hand and onto the rough side of the nori seaweed, which is sat on a rolling mat, and just press it down lightly. And we're just going to cover about 3/4 of this nori with this rice, just pressing it down, and you want a good even layer. Keep dampening your hands, otherwise this stuff is just a nightmare to handle. Next, we want a little bit of the very hot wasabi. So just get a bit on the end of your finger and run your finger down the middle of the rice there. Strips of spring onion, lay them down the middle on top of where the wasabi is. Next, cucumber, nice long strips. Finally, the cured mackerel. Right, this is the fun bit when we create that familiar sushi that you've all seen in the restaurants, except this one we made ourselves. take the mat, pull it up and round, and then when you get to the top, just squeeze it with your fingers, like that. So it all holds together. Lift up that flap, have a little look, and you can see that coming out round. Where we've got that bit of nori there, just dampen your fingers with that vinegared water, run it along, that acts as a glue, and then just take the last bit, roll it over the top, and fingers crossed, we have got a beautiful cylinder of rolled sushi ready to slice up and serve.